This is Masters Report, and I'm John Masters. What's up, people? Okay, I did a video earlier today. Yes, that's right, it was today. It was earlier. That's why they say earlier today. Smart. Anyways, earlier today about how cops, and we know this, you guys have heard it, how cops complain that the most dangerous part of their job is a traffic stop, and they've got to be really careful. Well, we got to some facts on that, and the truth of the matter is in approximately 4 to 5, they didn't specify, but it was at least a 3 year period of time. 280 cops had died in traffic-related encounters. Okay, by the person. So the person shot them or whatever. They had an altercation. You know what I'm talking about. But there was a death that occurred, which turns out statistically to be 1 in 6.5 million chance of a cop dying on a traffic stop. So I wanted to take a look and see, wait a minute, who is actually in more danger? Well, New York Times came out with another article. First article was done by New York Times. They're hammering on the cops, really hammering on them. It's almost as if the left is against police because police tended to back a certain individual. But new report finds cops killed 400 plus unarmed people in 5 years during traffic stops, many for minor infractions. So, but you see, now here's how this is going to work, okay? Should you ask a cop or a chief of police, especially, dude, 400 people died and you only lost 280. Well, he's going to look at you and say, well, you don't understand, boy. It's like this: those 400 could have killed 400 cops. So, because we killed them first, we saved 400 lives. So, the truth of the matter is, it's really 680 in 5 years, which drops it down to 1 in 3.0 million chance. Anyways, the New York Times investigation found that in 5 years, police officers killed more than 400 people who weren't in possession of a gun or knife and weren't suspected of violent crime. Yet only 5 of the officers have been convicted in connection with the killings. The more likely outcome was a lawsuit, which played out with local governments. That is to say, you and me, the taxpayers, paying at least 125 million in 40 wrongful death suits, the Times reported. Journalist David Kirkpatrick, yeah, Kirkpatrick, Steve Eder, Kim Barker, and Julie Tate wrote in a piece that black drivers were overrepresented in the number of deaths when compared to the population. Okay, now look, they always do this, and I want to clarify this, okay? Because in our country right now, the most impoverished group of people, in other words, the most poverty stricken, is black folk. Okay, so of course the police are going to cruise the ghettos. They're going to cruise black neighborhoods, knowing that they could get that trifecta within a couple hours. The trifecta of tickets. You know what it is? It's no license, no insurance, and no vehicle license. That's what they want to get. So, while it is true, you've got to put it in proportion to the amount of crime that occurs and what group commits the most crime. So, anyways, if I'm in a group that commits the most crimes, then yes, I'm going to have a higher incident of police interaction. Okay. Now, if you want to take a look at like Asians, unless we're talking about, the Asian mafia, but Asians are one of the lowest because they tend to want to follow they have a strong family environment. And if they get in trouble, they lose face if they go to jail. So they tend to be more law abiding, if is a better way to put it. Again, I'm a lot of you are going to go, oh, dude, you're generalizing. Well, I can because it is. I mean, if you guys want to look up the statistics, go ahead. You'll find that I'm right. Anyways, Tate wrote that black drivers were overrepresented in the number of deaths when compared to the population, and they were stopped over minor infractions like red light violations or driving with broken taillights. Again, looking for that trifecta of tickets. In case after case, officers said they had feared for their lives, but no weapons. The reporting team wrote, and in case after case, prosecutors declared the killings of unarmed motorists legally justifiable. Well, he was big. He must have weighed like 150 pounds. And I was pretty sure he was a ninja. He knew Kung Fu. He was going to kill me. I know it. I was in fear for my life. Good story. But the Times reviewed video and audio recordings, prosecutor statements, and court documents finding patterns of questionable police conduct that went beyond recent high profile deaths of unarmed drivers. Evidence often contradicted the accounts of law enforcement officers. Are you trying to tell me, okay, I'm shocked here. Are you trying to tell me that officers are covering for other officers? So one, in other words, they get their story straight, kind of like how criminals do it. They get caught, they get together. Let's get our story straight. It's almost as if they do the same thing. Some 24 cases involving the officers are pending, while 5 officers have actually been convicted in relation to killings. The Times reported Derek Chauvin, who was convicted of murdering George Floyd when the white men, gotta go white, black, white. Anyways, when a Minneapolis cop kneeled on the father's neck for more than 9 minutes, was one of 2 officers sentenced to considerable time in prison. One cop got away with only probation. So they kind of go through a bunch of different cases, which I don't really think that we need to go through. But I do find it somewhat shocking that 800, 400 people have died that are unarmed. The U.S. Supreme Court began allowing officers to use minor traffic violations as a means to investigate unrelated crimes in 1996. But the end result of that allowance has been cops disproportionately stopping blacks and Latino drivers, despite those drivers being no more likely to be found to be carrying anything illegal. Notice I never say Asians. Asians never get in trouble, man. I tell you. All right, guys, to my next video. I'm John Masters. This is Masters Report. Thanks for tuning in.